My name is Ashley French, and I wanted to come on here and just talk a little bit about my health story and my background and why I have decided to become a health coach and a naturopathic practitioner. Now, this starts back kind of a long time ago, probably about 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago, when I went to a doctor and he told me that I had a really low working thyroid, that my thyroid was having problems. Now, the reason why we went to the doctor in the first place is because I was probably 11, probably around 11 years old when this happened, and I was having a lot of symptoms of something wrong going on in my body. The symptoms were like I would take naps. I was really tired, so I would take naps every single day in the middle of the day for about 30 minutes. Sometimes I would take two naps in the day, and that's not normal for a child that's like 10, 11, 12 years old. And I had crazy cravings, so I ate a lot of food. I also was a little chubbier, and even with the high activity that I had, I couldn't keep the weight off, and I gained a little bit more than I wanted to. And it's crazy how even being 11, 12 years old, you do think about your body, you do think about what you look like, especially when people make comments about you. At that point, you're old enough to take the, "Oh, you're so cute," or "You're so chubby," take those comments and think about it in a different way. You're a little bit more mature now. And for me, that's kind of how I was, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I guess this isn't really normal." My dad was a great example of getting motivated to improve and to do things that were good for you. And so he would wake up early every morning and go run on the treadmill. So I decided that I was gonna join him. So I would wake up at 6 o'clock with him, 6 a.m., and I would go run like 1 mile on the treadmill. And I remember we would make deals with each other. We'd make bets. So one of them was whoever could burn 500 calories running on the treadmill first would win something or whatever. I never made it to 500 calories, but that meant a lot to me. That really started my journey of learning about health and wanting to constantly improve and feel good in my body, feel good about my body, but also feel good in my body and feel healthy and be comfortable. After I learned that the reason why my hair was falling out, why I was gaining weight, why I was irritated all the time, I'd get super easily annoyed, and why I was exhausted all the time, why my skin was slightly yellow, kind of a weird color, was because my thyroid was not functioning properly. And I'm so very grateful that I learned that early on in my life. And so, year after year, I took supplements to help boost my thyroid, and I'd go back to the doctor every year, and nothing was really changing. And I noticed that I was not as energetic as the other kids, as the other teenagers, because this went even into my late teens, and I was quite self-conscious about my health and that I couldn't stay awake in a class that I was in, or I couldn't I would run out of breath really easily when doing things. And so finally, up until I was in my late teens, I was learning a lot about health. My mom, she had a lot of health scares. Well, she's had a lot of health scares throughout her life, but one finally put her in bed and she was like, "I've got to change things." And so she changed basically the lifestyle of everybody in my family. And we started eating organically, we started eating whole foods. She home cooked a lot more. She did home cook growing up, but the ingredients that she was using in her meals were a lot better. And that definitely was making a difference. I know for sure that that was keeping my thyroid from getting worse and my health just from declining. It was kind of keeping it stable, but still not in the best position. Later on, probably when I was about 17, 18 years old, this was back in 2022, I decided that I really wanted to change, and I really wanted to get healthier and heal my thyroid. And so I was actually 19. Now I remember I was 19 years old. in 2022, I researched a lot about the thyroid and nutrition and how I could boost my thyroid and how I can actually heal it. I didn't want to just give it supplements so that it was getting a little boost and kind of stay in the same spot. I wanted to actually heal it. I wanted to feel better. So one day I was listening to the Wise Traditions podcast put out by the Weston A. Price Foundation. And one of the episodes, they were talking about organ meats, eating organ meats. And I was like, I have never heard of this. I remember one time I ate a turkey kidney because it was for Thanksgiving, and that's just there was kidneys in the turkey, and I just ate one, and my mom kind of freaked out for a second because I just ate a turkey kidney. Normally you just cook that in the turkey and then you kind of throw it away. And so I definitely had a a I'd say like a normal view on organ meats, that's just something that you kind of cast away, that you put that in the organ wagon and you take it away. Nobody wants that. You feed it to the dogs. And so the more that I was learning about it, and learning that that's what our ancestors ate. That's what our ancestors prized, like for thousands of years, and they never threw out anything. They ate the fat on the meat. They ate the organ meats. They ate everything. They cooked the bones down so they could get the bone broth and the collagen that was in it. So the more that I learned about this, the more I was like, wow, it just makes sense. I also kind of had like a spiritual perspective on it too, because I was like, this animal is giving its life for me so that I can continue to live a healthy life, and I'm throwing away the most nutrient dense parts of these animals. And so I decided that I was going to start eating organ meats. And honestly, by this point, I was so fascinated by it and so intrigued that I wanted it to heal my thyroid, but I wanted to try it. I wanted to see what else it could do for my body. The first thing that I ate was liver. And I ordered a bunch of organ meats online, and they seemed pretty cheap, and I was like, okay, I'll give this a try. So I ordered chicken gizzards, liver, heart, and chicken hearts, I believe is what it was. And so I first cooked up the liver, and I think I mixed the liver in with beef patties, or just with ground beef. And I think I did like 1 part liver to like 4 parts beef, and I could definitely taste it, and it was kind of had to get it was a taste that I had to acquire, that I had to get used to. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna keep trying. I'm gonna keep trying to cook it in different ways, and I'm gonna try out these other organ meats. And so I probably about at least every other day, I was eating some kind of organ meat, whether that was cow heart or beef liver or chicken hearts. I tried chicken gizzards, which I don't like those. I don't think I'll ever go back to them. They're not my favorite. I was eating cow tongues, oxtail, kidneys. I was drinking lots of bone broth, making sure to cook down those bones, and I came to really enjoy it. Came to really enjoy the organ meats. And so then I went to the doctor again because I was actually preparing to leave to serve a mission for my church. And I was like, I need to go back to this doctor, and I need to see how I'm doing. So we went and we did some tests, and the doctor that I go to, he's a holistic doctor, and he does everything naturally. So I went to him, and it was before this, I'd gotten a scan almost every single year for like 10 years. Same results with my thyroid. Everything else was functioning pretty well in my body, but it was the thyroid that was just struggling. So went to him, and we did the test, we did the scan, and my thyroid was functioning just fine. And this was the first time in 10 years that my thyroid was not having problems. And I was like, oh my gosh, there is actually something to this whole organ eating thing. So I continued to eat organs. Now, I served my church mission in Europe, in France and Belgium, and there's a lot of organ meats that are available there, so that made me really happy. I remember going to the grocery store for the first time, and I just saw all these slabs of liver for human consumption, not for your pets, but for human consumption, and I was like, no way. So I bought liver like every single week. I was super happy about that. Now let's talk about my symptoms, the symptoms that I had. So again, before My hair was falling out. I was overweight. I was super tired all the time. My skin had a weird hue to it. I was super irritated, got really easily annoyed, and those were the things that really I remember the most. Once I started eating these organ meats, even within just like a couple weeks, my energy levels were better than they had ever been. And that blew my mind because I was like, oh my gosh, I can wake up. I'm not tired. Like, I have energy and I can actually go throughout my day without having to take a nap, without feeling like I need to take a nap. My hair stopped thinning so much. My skin started looking healthier, and I was getting a little less irritated and annoyed with everything. I was very convinced that there are things that we have put aside for so many years now to this point that our bodies need so much. And because of that, we are getting so many diseases, and cancer and heart disease and diabetes, it's all skyrocketing. Like, it's getting worse and worse every single year. And I think that's because we're getting further and further away from what our body really needs. We're getting further and further away from tradition and from nutrition. And so that is really what made me want to go into health and help other people see that it is possible to heal. Even when your doctor or a doctor says that something you have is incurable, or you have to be on medication for the rest of your life. For me, I think we need to look at all the possibilities, look at everything, so that we can see that it's actually possible to heal or at least improve what it is we have without having to rely on medication or live with our symptoms for the rest of our lives. And so, yeah, that's kind of my message to the world is right now at this point that it's possible to heal, and believe that it is possible to heal. I dealt with a sickness for 10 years and I was finally able to heal it. I went back to the tradition. I went back to the basics, and that's really what saved me. So thank you for listening to this video about my health story. I hope to be able to come out with some podcasts with some other people that have healed themselves from any ailments that they've had, or podcasts and videos about health and about how we can improve the health of individually within our families and also within our culture. So, yeah, thanks for watching.